That's funny. So I did all that talking and my mic was even on. But anyways, so I got a lot of work to do. Let's go ahead and get right on to it. Like I said, new camera, equipment, all the stuff. So uh, yeah, bear with me a little bit as I try to fix a lot of these issues along the way. Actually, this is not even flipped. Let me fix that because it's on my right. And I know it's not in my left, it's also upside down. All right, so let me fix that. That's that. Okay, now it's upside down. Need that on top, so let's fix that. There we go. All right, so yeah, I can see my notes and I can write down um, some of the stuff that I actually put down and levels and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get to it because I got a lot that I have to cover. So first thing first is you can kind of see what's going on here. It looks like we bounced off the 200 EMA here and we kind of pushed up. That was our August 5th bounce when it was all said and done. But the problem that we have here is that we look like we're going to test this again, and this is like a shadow angle compared to the angle that was here. So it does feel like we're getting this almost like rounding of the top here. So just be careful as the market kind of continues throughout. But you can see market dominance is giving us a little bit of an entry for upside, and you can see we kind of spiked up and continued even though they kind of liquidated along the way. And right now I'm just going to be very patient to see what's going to happen here. But if I was to be a gambling man, I don't think we're going to come back to this level unless there's some type of catalyst. But if we hold this level, we may be just doing a little bit of a range as we try to take out that whole entire sell side liquidity that happened over in December 18th. Next one it is oil. Oil starting to round out that bottom. Remember, we are in this proverbial long consolidation ever since we had this whole entire upside from the pandemic when they were giving free oil or whatever this was. Again, whatever manipulation would look at it. But you can see we just broke through here, and even though we had selling pressure that brought us here, we just been sideways for now. Let's get a little bit of a measurement. We've been sideways from about 300 a year just straight sideways, and then probably a very weak bounce along the ways there. So let's see how the market responds to that. But if we are going to look for something in the days, I think they are trying to make a little bit of a W because we kind of did these bounces here. They really are holding on to the 66.52 level. Look for oil to try to take this gap out, but I think it's going to have trouble with the 200. So oil until about 73.68. That's probably as far as it's going to go. Here's gold. Again, gold, we talked about this 2800 level. Why is this like blocking my high? There we go. 2800 level. We are not really just attacking that 2800 level. We got 2800 here, and we got 2760, 2750 around this area. and then probably 2700 is probably a couple areas that you're going to get some selling pressure. These areas here, just keep an eye out. Even though we're curling up on the MACD and the stochastic, just look for these levels as possible take profits, especially if your stop loss is around that 2600 and your entry is probably around that 2614. So that's a good area to look at. Here's silver. Silver has been having a little bit of an issue here. Now, let me put my phone on silent. They don't interrupt. Silver has been having a little bit of an issue. It's just been on this nice little channel. Let me go ahead and draw the channel for y'all. As soon as I find the tool, there it is. It's been in this nice little channel here, kind of doing this, and we're at the lower register of it. Is this going to be enough for us to go ahead and come back to this level over here at 2880? Now, mind you, we have bounced off this area a couple of times. This was that bounce around that 30, 30, and then now we're under the 30. So could this be the catalyst that brings gold back down? Very interesting as how silver is moving, because you could kind of see gold has been trying to make its way up, but silver is not following suit. So very interesting spot for silver. Here's the British pound. The British pound is dropping, and again, this kind of goes in sync with our market. It's been in a bear state for a while now. It's been a bear state ever since October, and you can kind of see it's been drifting itself down, and it's the thing that's been weighing down the market overall as the dollar's getting strength. Now that we're kind of crossing a lot of these EMAs and crossing these levels, I really want to see what the reaction is going to be at 1.23. If we get a bounce here, this could be the continuation for our rally in a bull market. I don't think the bull market is over yet. Here's natural gas. Natural gas is starting to do a little bit more of a push up, but again, we're past that season. Nice little cross up as we went into winter season, and there is an area I am still curious about, which is the rejection that happened over 2022 over here. I wonder, because we got here so far. We got about here in January 2023. I want to see what happens with the weather. If we still get cold spring, I can see this maybe finding a little bit of a base and then start to push up some more right before we get into the summer season. Let me go ahead and put a trend here. This is the trend that we're on here, but then we got a nice little deviation of that trend around here, and that's the trend that we're kind of like on, and we're trying to hold that. This one is the Russell. The Russell is where everybody kind of pours their money if it comes down to it. Now, understand, I'm not saying that people are just racing to go ahead and pour their money. Listen, this is how you get yourself into some of this trouble here, trying to force the market to do what you want. But I could see as they start to take some money off of tech, you're probably going to get some of the smaller caps that's going to go ahead and do its job. So really keep an eye on the Russell throughout the beginning of this year, and then when it starts to drop, it's probably time to go back into the bull market and continue there. So we'll see what happens there, but you can kind of see we're kind of creating this base here. We're probably going to go ahead and take out this area, get back into the 2300s. So keep that in mind. I know on the daily we kind of look like a little weak, it look like we're get a little bearish, but I'm very curious on what they do with this level, because we have been just staying into this area and kind of creating what looks like an upward channel. So this is just part of the pullback of that upward channel. I want to see an attempt of them trying to take out some of this area and really see if we're going to get that push. When we get around here, that's when I think we're probably going to go race to get back into some of the majors. And then last is our infamous dollar. Dollar has been putting a little bit of a bearish divergence. We're making higher highs here. The MACD is making lower lows here, but we kind of like uncross the MACD and continue to the upside. So this is probably going to be the one that's going to give us enough push to that downside. Hey, what it do? I'm getting my stuff all fixed and everything. Trying my best not to just go ahead and throw this computer out with everything. So I'm trying to repair it before I make that decision. So I appreciate you tapping in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to your friends and family. But yeah, this dollar looks like it's still gaining strength. So we're gonna see what happens. All right. So let's go ahead and get to it. If you have not been in my floor before, it's very interesting how we kind of do things here. We do it in a certain way where we're trying kind of like make it as simple as possible, because I try to cater to more new to kind of intermediate traders. So we do two trading strategies. The first strategy we do is an opening range breakout, which is very simple. We take the first 15 minutes of the market's open, and then we look for whichever side. If it breaks above the top, we're going to be bullish. We're going to look for bullish entries. If it breaks below the bottom, then we're going to go bearish and try to look for some bearish entries. Another thing, I did create an indicator called market dominance, and we are trying to anticipate what the next candle is going to be. And in this case, we're going to be looking at that 45-minute and see if that next candle follows suit or not. And if we find some entries, including with the opening range breakout, it usually gives us a very, very monster move. So that's it. But before I get all the way into it, I'm going to do something for the beginning of the year for a lot of my newer traders. The first thing I want to kind of break down right here is the fact that there's a couple things I want y'all to really, 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 really hold on to for this year. I feel like it's a correction of my mind, my personal mindset, and I think it's good for everybody to do this practice themselves. It's going to be very simple. There's a couple things that happens in the market. It's only three things that ever happens in the market. It's either breaking out, breaking down, or it consolidates. That's just what it does. It doesn't do anything else. And being able to be aware of where you are in the market is going to be very, very critical on you being successful in your trades and knowing whether to take an entry or not. So I always give the 3 W's on how to pick your trades, which is why are you looking in the first place, what will be your entry, and when do you get out, so that way you can create a proper trading plan that's going to be successful in the market. So very, very simple visualization to kind of understand. So there is breakout, there is breakdown, there is accumulation. So if it is breaking out, then that means it should not be breaking down. And if that is the case, when you come to this box, it says play to the upside. That is what we're going to be doing. And if it is breaking down, that's a yes, and not breaking out, then that means we're playing to the downside. The rest, is it breaking out and breaking down? That means it's accumulation or distribution, whatever the case may be. They are doing something. It's not going anywhere. You're inside of a range. And if it's not breaking down and it's not breaking out, chances are it's a very tight range. So this is more like a wide range. This is a tight range. And either way, it's still an accumulation phase. If you can recognize that, that should solve a lot of your problems. My goal is to get you away from the stairway to fail, coming to the frustration line, and being inconsistent inside of this battle zone Hunger Games thing where you're battling with high probability trades. Hence the reason why we're doing opening range breakouts. Also, I am looking to give you a more profitable high probability setup so that way you can be a profitable trader with market dominance. That is my general goal, so that way you can avoid from being almost focused, quasi-consistent. You probably got some dedication, hence the reason why you're on my class right now. And it looks like the market's about to open. So let's go ahead and get ourselves as close to profitable today as possible. Let's go ahead and get this in here. Where's my chart? Boom, there it is. All right, so the first thing that actually happened so far, let's just assume that the first 15 minutes is already set, right? So far, it looks like we're starting to put in a very bearish candle. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to go ahead and put a horizontal line right here, and that would be our bearish level. I'll check on that later. And if it breaks above this level, it'll be our bullish level, right? And then we're just looking for our 5-minute to close below or above these levels. So that's what we established so far here. All right, let me go ahead and check on my other charts. Let's see. Okay, what did I just do? Hold on. Let me get this monster under control. Okay, I see what I did. All right, get that out the way. Need this one. All right, cool. And then I'm going to need this one. And that can go over there. Let's see how that would look with stream. Okay, that's not too bad. All right. So far, it looks like we're building a little bit of a range in the first minute, which is not too bad. We are coming into the new year. I think there's a lot that needs to be addressed when it's all said and done. I'm also looking throughout this year. I'm probably going to be posting on my Instagram. If you have not followed me on Instagram, JD underscore the great, it'll probably be a good time for you to do so. I'm going to put some very, very key trades that I'm probably going to be breaking down on why I got in, where I got in, and there's going to be just snippets of those videos when I do my market recaps at the end of the day. First thing I'm probably going to be doing, I'm going to do more investing, kind of give y'all more of an ideology of where the market could be going, and see if we can find a NVIDIA before NVIDIA breaks out to become a NVIDIA what it is today. That is my goal there. Another thing is I'm going to try to find more swing trades. Everybody that knows me, I'm more of a scalper. So we're going to go ahead and do that as well. Oh, they readjust this line. They really are trying to stay in that bullish side. And then the last part, which is going to be mostly of what I do. I love swing trades. I'm sorry, scalping and everything else. It's going to be more of day trades. So I'm going to recap all three of those so that way I can make y'all as successful as possible as we go into 2025. 2025 is the year for us to knock it out the park like Barry Bonds. That is our goal. All right, so yeah, so we started to really establish. Let me go ahead and run through my red list. I kind of changed up my red list and what I'm looking for a little bit because I am starting to get into these swings a little bit. There goes our little bit of a breakdown. And it looks like I got a couple of things I would love to go over. Pan W. We're probably going to be talking about a lot on Pan W. I did break that area. I was looking for it to break down this area over in 184 just out of curiosity because it looked like we kind of created this overnight gap and we've been on this downtrend. I didn't think it was going to really take up and get back above the high of yesterday, or not yesterday, but Friday. What am I talking about? Friday, Tuesday. You see, this whole entire New Year's being in the middle of a weekday, it is not the best. It's probably the most confusing thing that I've ever experienced, but it's also that I've been saying Monday, especially for friends and family. So just bear with me if I stutter up on the words. I am talking about previous day and everything else. So let's go ahead and get back to it. But you can kind of see Pan W is starting to give out the bottom. That's probably what's driving the NQ down. I could see Pan W getting around that 181, 180 level. That'd probably be a good spot there. CVX, which is basically Chevron. Oh, I gotta go get my paper trade. I actually had a trade on this one. Bear with me. Let me go ahead and fix up my screen. I did not log into my Thinkorswim. Let me go ahead and get that under control. Bear with me. But I was looking at CVX as an opportunity because it looked like there were some imbalances that they were testing, and I wanted to see what were they looking for, and I had some 145 calls to the upside, and it should be doing okay or halfway decent for the most part. And I'm gonna go to this ticker. Tesla is coming down. That's cool though. I wanted it to come down. All right, so let's go ahead and check this paper trade out. See how it's doing. Oh yeah, that thing is doing really, really well. Paid about 89 cents for them, and now they're in the money. And looks like we're going to continue to this upside. I'm already up 100%. Let's see how that goes with CVX. Let's see if we can get. My target was around that 147, maybe even back into here around 150 would be great, but we do have quite a bit of jambalaya rice order blocks to be dealing with. Let me see how tight this is. Yeah, maybe really 147 on the dot. Actually, what I'm going to do is put a stop on this at 100%, which would be about 180, so just a little under it, so let's call it 179. Let me call it 177. All right, boom, there we go. My stop is there. Let's see if it triggers that, and that'll stay for the day. I think we will never come down to it. I think it got enough momentum. If we come over to the daily, you'll see what I mean, because we are coming through this fair value gap. This order block is probably what's going to be that little caveat. That's why I put that tightness right into that. But actually, I want to redo these lines. So I kind of was thinking along the lines of this. Nice little uptrend like this. And we broke down. Now we got ourselves what will be a bump and run. If you haven't been here where I talk about bump and runs, I love the strategies. Kind of looks like that, right? So now what's actually happening, we're building this base and I'm doing the bump and we're running right back up to the upside, and I want to see how much of this downside they're going to break. Are they going to break into here, or maybe they even retest back all the way up to here? That would be great for my paper trade. All right, so that is that. Starbucks was annoying. I was actually playing Starbucks into this area because there was a little bit of a gap here, and this was all part of a divergence here, right? But it decided to be a very, very jerkish around $86. I was actually in this trade, and it didn't really pan out. And I thought about playing to the upside, but I was like, you know what? They might just come back and retest. And I waited, and when I noticed that we're starting to build a base, I was like, they might be coming right back up. If you don't know what this gap was built on, when they changed CEOs, Starbucks just took off like a bottle rocket, and this was the move here. So just keep that in mind. Oh, look like CVX is doing another push. Let's see, another push. Yeah, it's good. Now we got into the gap, so we're getting to that 147 level. I am sitting on 146%. Let's get it. All right, let's go ahead and go back and check on NQ and see what's going on over there, and see if we can find something fun there. All right, looks like the 15 minutes starting to really range out a little bit further. We got ourselves a nice little pocket here. Look like they took out some imbalance over here. But that top side is around 372, and currently we're at this 3198, but it looks like they really want to get this 3120 as fast as it's going down here. So we're getting a very, very, very strong break in character here, and we're going to see what happens when it gets down into that area. Does it bounce when it gets to 120? Maybe. Does it recapture this whole entire thing? Maybe. But we'll see. We will see. All right, let's go ahead and keep on going down the list as we wait for 9:45. Oh, actually, before I do that, let's see if there's any news, because we are bottlenecked on news because it's a New Year's and everybody kind of took their vacation since Tuesday. So let's see. So we had jobless claim around 8:30. Manufacturing PMI is going to be at 9:45. So you should sit on your hands today up into 9:45. Actually, I wouldn't suggest getting any trades right now if you're not already in it. And right before 9:45, consider taking your profits or locking in something that you're comfortable with, because this global PMI is a red folder and it could really mix up the market. Oil has been sideways, so we're getting some oil inventory that's going to be around 11 o'clock. We got some bill auctions. I think the bill auction that's going to be very interesting is probably going to be the 17-week, which is going to be around 11:30, and then mortgage rates, that's going to be in place. And then the last one is the Fed balance sheet. Now that one's going to be aftermarket, and that's probably going to play with the overnight. To kind of go over it for tomorrow, we got some PMI information that's going to be coming in at 10 o'clock. And I think that should be it. Some speculative stuff. So some New Year's stuff is coming in, but other than that, I think the biggest thing is going to be that 10 o'clock PMI. That's probably going to really mess with the market, other than the London sessions and the Euro sessions. All right, so that is that. Nice little bounce. We didn't even get to the 120. Maybe they're going to catch it here. So that was about 165, somewhere around that level. Actually, let's be extremely accurate, because I want to make sure we hit our levels right there. So that is 21166.50. All right, and then for the top side, that was 21373 on the dot. All right, so those are the two areas. We're going to be bullish or bearish if it comes down to it. So we got 4 minutes. Let me go ahead and go through a couple more. Waste management. Let's go to waste management. Actually, you know what? Let's go AVGO first. I thought about this one. I had a feeling it was going to get. If you look at it from the daily, this is what it looks like. And you know, we close here and we open up here. And I thought that we was going to go ahead and rebalance this because this has been pointing down, pointing down. So that could have been a nice little opening play to kind of reset and come back to that 231. But you could kind of see with the overnight sessions on. We kind of came back to this level. Jambalaya rice order blocks, and that's a real thing. I'm sorry, it's not a real thing. I just like to call it that. But you got some greens, you got some reds, you got some colors, you got some highs, you got some dojis, you got all types of mix of all types of candles. Hence the reason why I call these jambalaya rice order blocks. And this is my order block. And I feel like we're trying to come to this level, and those that are bearish are probably taking profit before it snatches them. But I could see this really putting some pressure all the way down to that 231. So we'll see what happens. Waste management, really good ticker. Shout out to Bucky, he loves this ticker. Looks like we're coming off of an order block too. Let me start this over. Yeah, we had a nice little block here. Break below here. Ever since 215, it hasn't looked back. A nice little $15 drop, but we are coming to a very key level here. Very interested, is it going to come down and fill this gap that happened back here all the way in February 2024, or does it hold its level? We got here, let me change this to my general yellow. We got here, and we got here, and this is the one that we're testing right now, which is a psychological level of $200. Let's see if we can get a nice little bounce. If there was a bounce, we're gonna go ahead and throw some fibs on it. Maybe we get a bounce up into here, which will bring us to 215, the area that started this whole entire imbalance succession all the way down to here. Well, we'll see if that actually happens. All right, got like one more minute. Boeing, Apple, Golden State. I see GS and I say Golden State. Goldman Sachs, Zscaler, Hilton. Let's go with Boeing because they did that debacle over the weekend. All right, so looks like the market really didn't care. Boeing has been getting its butt whooped all year, so it is at a very low level anyway, so this does make some sense from a technical aspect. But the first reaction was a very knee-jerk reaction, and you could kind of see they were anticipating like lawsuits and all that, and we had a crash over in South Korea, so it bounced from 170, but it had a lot of selling pressure all throughout this time. So as it was drifting up, there was selling. So I am curious, do we come back into this area here? Is that what they're looking for? 184. Look for a possible sell at 185-ish, 184 as we try to go up, because we still in this death cross type of action, and it's continuing down. The only thing that's supporting it is the 50 EMA, and if they go back to retest it, they might fall right through and come back into that 150 level. That is what Boeing kind of looks like. All right, let's go over to NQ. We're about to establish. Oh, we just did we? Got my alert. Very bearish. Just check it. Yep, we just got it. All right, so let's go ahead. So right now we got ourselves an established level, so we don't even have to make any adjustments because that's where our bounce is. Right now I'm going to look at the 5-minute. I am looking for the 5-minute to not create any higher highs right now. This is going up. It just did. So what's happening here, it looks like we made a little bit of a low. Some type of accumulation happened. It's making a higher high, so they are in control, and they might take out a lot of these bears. So I am looking for this level here, and probably about it. Probably maybe even this level here. Somewhere around here is where we're going to go ahead and try to reject from, unless they put in a brand new fair value gap and we continue to the downside. Let me go ahead and log into my accounts. No, I do not want bar replay. Alright. Okie dokie. I gotta do some damage control over here. Oh, there goes my other alert. So they liquidated a lot of the bears here. So if we go ahead and throw a fib here, you're talking about backwards. Throw a fib here off this whole entire move. Looks like we came around that just before the 50%, and they did a nice low rejection. So there could be new sellers that step into here, so just be careful. But for the most part, they liquidated a lot of sellers. Let's see. 5 minute is in a bearish state right now, especially being on that lower side of the MACD. But I would love if this stochastic can reset somehow, and then we could try to take a stab to the downside. But we'll see what happens. I don't like to play inside of the opening range because, again, opening range, that means this is the range, and I don't do too well with ranges. I hate ranges. This is one of my Achilles heel. Not 2025. Maybe I'll find a way to, you know, circumvent that in some way. Oh, that's what we did. Let's go over to the daily on NQ, and you'll see we came. And I was curious if we was gonna do it because this one we didn't even make it all the way to the 50 EMA, and we did this massive bounce, and that was what kind of created this whole entire move to this upside. And when we made this evening star, I was like, oh, we're gonna go to the 50, and I kind of got a little chopped up on Tuesday, and it took forever, and then it finally did it when I wasn't looking, and you can see we finally established that objective by getting to the 50 EMA. So could it be that we just got buyers that's sitting here waiting for us to push to this upside? Are they going to retake this wick and continue up? Maybe. We'll see what happens from there. All right. So let's go back over to the 15-minute. See how we got that nice wick? They didn't recapture the wick. We're coming to that level that I was just telling you about, the cross between. So how I kind of see order blocks, I see order blocks in multiple ways. Let's come down to the 1 minute, and you could kind of see here. This area has been a very interesting spot, right? And I know jambalaya rice order block, but anyways, wherever you see a lot of price action moving up and down, it tells me that buyers and sellers exist. You got some greens, you got some reds, you got some of these little tiny candles like dojis and hammers and all this. And this was a signal and trigger. If you ever read the book Candlestick Patterns, or Japanese Candlestick Bible is another good one. These things kind of give you signals of, hey, you need to go. Yes, this one was probably the best one. That was that engulfing evening star, and it took off to here, which you went ahead and took about 100 ticks, right? But all of this had to happen in the mix of it, and it's just depends on how the market responds to it. So I feel like these things you avoid and these things you attack. That's how I see it. So I don't like order blocks. I never will, never. I don't like ranges. I just look at them as areas. Look at how we reject them from here. All right, so that's how I kind of look at it. And then on the 5 minute, you can kind of see that was the areas here, and it's kind of built from there. And if they cannot take this top of here, which is 21,275.50, we are not going to attack this fair value gap. So the sellers failed to create a new fair value gap down here, and this 5 minute got 17 seconds, and they are overtaking that right now. All right, so the 5 minute is still bearish. I don't know. I want to play to this upside. I really do, but I think I'm gonna let it go. Yeah. If you are in on this upside, congratulations. Look for the 5 minute to put in a fair value gap here and see if it can hold something along the levels of not coming under here and using this order block as a space for them to kind of give that bounce. But if not, your last line of defense will be around that 258. All right, the 5 minute still not doing anything relative. Our 45 minute market dominance has solved its solution. Basically, it said, hey, we got this massive push to the downside. Can we get a bullish trend to the upside? And it did. I thought we were too bearish for that to happen, and I thought we was going to get one of these. Let me see if I can point out one. Like something like this, right? Where it says, hey, we had made a major move. We should be bearish, and it didn't go bearish, and it didn't go bearish, and it didn't go bearish. I was looking for something just like that to happen, but it looks like that was not continuation, so we'll see what happens there. Let's come back over to the 5 minute. We got a little bit of profit taking that happened here. Very interesting. I think the real level that they're looking for is to get up to that 345, but there was some strong selling that happened here. Can they break back below here? We will see. Either way, we're waiting for that opening range breakout, right? That's what we're looking for. I've seen where the opening range breakout does not break out until we get into like later on in the afternoon, like 11-ish, 12-ish, So just be patient. The rule is 5 minute close above. What I mean by close above, for those that are new, when the body comes up, they kind of come across, comes down like that, and then you got yourself a body with a wick. The wick can do whatever it wants. I guess I should have did that a little wider. Like a candle that does like that. The wick can go like this or like that, but as long as the close is above it, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so just keep that in mind, so that way that close should be confirmation that they have control. Look like the bears could not take control here. Our market dominance did signal saying, hey, we should be pulling down, and that was just enough to that, and it looks like they're gonna get the rest here. Here it goes. Can go ahead, you're almost there. You might as well take it all out. They took a lot of the bears out from the opening. All the people that was bearish here that got in their position, that was anticipating super low levels and try to really break the bank, looks like they took them out. Bang, bang, and bang. 3 candles. 3 strong candles. There we go. That's our target. Get a little bit of a rejection there. All right, since these things are established, I'm gonna leave that for the range. Nice little stoke point up here, right? When you see the stoke pointing up like this, you're anticipating that this is going to make a massive move through the stoke and get into these upper registers like this. This looks really, really good. But we trade our plan, not our money. We trade our plans, not our money. What's very interesting is that the 15-minute, and this is why I was looking for so much continuation. Look at that 15-minute. We was going through that zero line and they caught this thing, bang, and it just pushed right back up. See what they do with this opening range. Does this embolden enough buyers to come in and take a nice little stab, push it all the way back up, get into these areas? Yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. There we go. So you see how we got this? It should be red, but we had a little slight red. All right, no worry. That's just pull back and it just explodes. Now we're about to trigger another one right here, and this could give us a nice little rejection when we get to the opening range here. All right, let's get a close above. If we can get a close above, we can start looking for an entry for some upside. For the Qs, if I was going to be worrying about an option chain on this, actually, let's do tomorrow. Let's do something safer. Maybe 425, 420. Sorry, 520, 525. Maybe even 524. That'd probably be a good one. Now that we're at this upside. Ew, this thing is taken all the way off. What are they looking for? Could they be going back to the 500 level? We'll see. That could be all the opening range breakout that they have. Very, very possible, but I'm going to just hold faith that they're going to go ahead and test some more. Let's see. Because this is a lot of bullish momentum. I should have had my level. You can tell it's been a while since I warmed up like this. Should have been got in as we were crossing. I think that. So on futures, I'm going super light leverage. I'm going to risk around $10 or so to see if this is going to hold our level and continue to this upside. You can see they're buying dips here. See if we can get up into there. Looks like they're trying their best to try to sell it off, but I think it's going to hold because I think there is some sell side liquidity that they're targeting up here. Let me see, this 5 minute has quite a bit left. Let me see what the 5 minute looks like. Because what I would love to see is a break above that 50 EMA, but it looks like it's struggling to do so. Tough EMA, so it could be somewhere where it can really take some discounting to get there. I don't like the fact that it kind of put in this hammer, but I feel like they're just giving them a little leeway. They're going to recapture it before the 5 minute closes. But we'll see. Maybe it doesn't. We take the chart that they present in front of us, execute our plan, and let the chips fall where they may. All right, here's the last minute of this 5 minute candle. A little bit more than I really wanted to risk as far as the drawdown, but just being patient with it. I think they are waiting for 10 o'clock, which is going to do something very massive. I'm already red, so let me just cut that for right now and see what happens. Yeah, so I still got my option contract, so that kind of continued. Let's see how that panned out. Ooh, why are you red like that? Is that pulling back already? It popped up and then it pulled back hard. Let's see, did it get to my fair value? Yes, it did. Look at that. It hit it, and then now they're bouncing it. Let's see if this thing finds a spot. Just patience, patience, patience. Trade your plan, folks. Trade your plan. What I'm thinking is, since we're already above here, and we kind of took this stab, the 5 minute might come back and retest to see if they can take out this fair value gap. But if this fair value gap holds, we're gonna make higher highs and probably even get back into that 500 area. So that's why I'm kind of holding on to this this call. But we'll see. We will see. Just patience, folks. 5 minute is a little tight in the stochastic, but the 15 minute did this. We're getting that curl. So I'm looking at it from our 15 minute standpoint, just waiting for this. All right, so it looks like we're trying to recapture the wick. Let's see if we can. Struggling to recapture it. They're being difficult. And I think it's the weight of the 5-minute stochastic being in its upper register here. So if this 5-minute fails to hold this upper register and it starts to curl down, this can cause a lot of problems. Yeah, we're building a block here. Question is, which top of the block or which top or bottom of the block are we going to go? And here comes the 5-minute fair value gap that we're going to try to attempt. All right, let's see if we can catch it here before it gets into there. It's taking a lot longer than I expected because, again, if we're doing an opening range breakout to the upside, this was a good retest for us to just continue this. So this is probably going to like rocket up. It's just taking the buyers a little bit to be sure that it's going to do what they think it's going to do. All right, there we go. Is it finally making that move? My target is going to be somewhere around the 460, 450 area. Let's go bullish. All right, let's get ourselves a nice little breakout here. Oh, new 5-minute candle. That's what's causing this. But let's see if they can catch this bottom and then rock it back up because we just made a new higher high. This should embolden the bulls to step in. All right, that looks good. Let me take some leverage off. I got $500. Oh. Kind of blooper that one. Had 500, I actually entered more in the mix of that. Ah, that sucks. Damn it, Dan. Damn it, man. I was looking to close some of my contracts out. And I added to it instead of closing it. As I'm closing, I'm trying to flatten it. That thing was like, oh, you got 30 contracts. 30 contracts? Oh, no. What's it doing that? So I'm actually down like $300. Ah, that sucks. That really sucks. So let me see. I had lost like 200. So basically, I am red 200 on that move instead of being up 500, which would have wiped it, and I would have been up like $200. So yeah, that sucks. Execution, folks. That's what the 2025 is about. Execution, and that was poor execution. But I had a feeling I was getting to my target way too close. We kind of got into this area right here, right at the last little bit of value gaps that was left. That was my target. And anyone that knows how I trade, you already know how I trade. I operate with full control, and I just executed that very, very badly. But find another. But that was a really good, successful open range breakout. Oh, you know what I forgot about? My option contract. While I'm over here complaining about what just happened here. Let's see. That sucks. And it's actually up 50%. No, no. I need my position. Sometimes thinkers gonna be driving me a little crazy. Where are you? Oh, it's down here. I'm probably gonna have to look up the chart. I'm probably gonna have to look up the chart to see what happens. Because this thing, I know it was printing in itself when it got to that. Let's see, I did the 524s. I think we could probably it depends on how this 5 minute actually does its job, because what's happening is the 15 minute is crossing and it needs a cross here, and we got an engulf in here. So if this 15 minute does something like maybe a close above the 200, this option contract probably will look a lot better. But for the opening range breakout, I like to target fair value gaps, especially when I don't have a true target. Let's see, 15. Yeah, there's a lot of jambalaya rice junk and gunk here that you would have to fight with. So there's going to be some conviction that's going to be needed. Again, we are in a bull market, so this can continue to the upside no matter how you look at it. Backflip it, toss it up in the air. It doesn't matter. But how the market reacts on day one is probably going to require for us to take out some imbalances. And right now, we have a juicy one we put in on this 15 minute that they could come right back down, and you'll see it better here. That they could come back down and take all this, unless they are doing long-term investing. We'll see. We will see. Right now, I am up just 3%. That means that thing probably really rocketed up to like 25, maybe even hit my 30%. But this one I was kind of operating until I was done with my futures. Got a little distracted. All right, nice little doji. No evening star in the 5 minute, and we should be fine. For our floor, like I said, I do it from 9:15 to 10:15 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Today is Thursday, so this is going to be the last one for this week, but the first one of the year. I want to test out my new equipment. Looks like it is running a little bit smoother instead of all the crashes I was dealing with right before Christmas. I do not want to buy another computer. I really don't. But, at the end of the day, got to do what you got to do. So let's see if this computer can survive this. This thing's being tough. It's being a toughie. It's being a toughie. Come on, recapture that wick. All right, got a nice little curl over. That should scare the bears. Recapture that topside wick. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Where the rest of my bulls? Where my bulls at? Get a nice little cross of this MACD into that zero line. This will look really good for the target, somewhere around that 489, which is that rejection before we got to 500. This will take us into 500 if it does what I think it could do. Ooh, because this is a 1 day. I didn't do a 0 DTE on this one because I knew I was going to be distracted. I do have a little bit of cushion, but it's kind of sideways, even though we're still kind of pushing up. Oh, look at CVX. CVX is at the 147. We got up to 147.50, almost 147.46-ish. Really, really good move. Let me go check out what's going on my paper. How did that turn out on my paper? I am at 170%. Let's go ahead and readjust my orders. Edit. Let's call it $2. Adjusted my stop. So I'm at 160%. So this will lock in more than 100%. So this will be really, really great. Let's go back over to these Qs. Let's see what happens over in NQ. That's why I like to trade like other tickers, and now I'm kind of getting into more of my trading maturity. It takes my mind off of staring at NQ all day. If it was up to me, I'll sit here and just look at NQ with popcorn in hand and everything. Come on, baby. I know you didn't take out the high. You're going to. Uh-oh. I don't think they had enough. I don't think they had enough. So for my option contract, what I'm looking for is for us to stay above this opening range breakout and just stay above it, because when we established this was just to establish for us to take out all these levels. The moment it gets back inside of that opening range breakout, I will probably consider taking my profits. But I am looking for something very massive. I was looking for something along the lines of retesting the wick, getting back into these orders, and then probably getting into here if there was some real momentum on the, because again, all this was driven on low volume, so I'm assuming that all the volume is going to kick in, so maybe we'll get back up above here. Hence the reason why I did for tomorrow. But again, that's all predicated to a possibility. The market can do whatever it wants. You can't force the market to do anything that it doesn't want to do. Right now, Qs are at 516. 516. So maybe we can get into that 520 level, make some considerations. 525, 530 would be great, because then this thing will start to print. Let me see what that would look like if it got to 525. If it got to 525 before today is out, maybe around, actually not this way, let's go here. Maybe around $1.85 to $200. 5 deviations, maybe 300 to $400. And if you did follow this trade with me and jumped in, you paid somewhere around the ballpark of 45 bucks. So we'll see. We will see. All right, that said, now we are at 10:15, and I don't think there's going to be anything real major. Let's see. Let me go to the 5 minute. Can this thing take another high out? Let's see if we can find that out before we get out of here. Oh man, that was such poor execution. I'm looking at my futures numbers now, and I'm like, oh my god, that was pretty bad. Alright, get a nice little curl up here, and we get a push to take out some of the sell side liquidity. They're attempting, it look like they're trying to get above that 430. Above 430, it'll probably get around that 440, and then that's that 450 psychological test. There we go, that's 430. Here comes 440. Like I said, this is one of those things where you got to be smart with your entries and smart with your trades. Just don't force nothing. Still don't like it for the upside yet, but it's still a strong spot. It's just in the middle of consolidation. Doji, doji, doji. So I'm trying to read the tea leaves a little bit and see where they're going. I think they're accumulating again for more upside. Attempting to get that 15 minute to cross on the MACD, and attempting to get that 5 minute to cross the zero line. If those two things happen, this thing gonna print. All right, breaking down, taking out some lows right here and here. Short term, we are kind of bearish, to be completely frank and honest. But long term, we still in the bull market. We didn't break a key level. We've penetrated some trends. Oh, there we go. They just took out all that buy side liquidity here. Came back and retouched the 50 EMA on this 5-minute. Could curl this 5-minute right back down and dump it. If you're still in your Qs, you're probably down like 20%, which is okay. They're going to test some of these levels. 15 minutes kind of bullish. The 1 hour is still bullish. So if any of these lower time frames can get into the bullish state, then it's going to be a continuation for the other time frames. I think that's what the bears don't want to see. That's why you're getting this right now. Kind of had an area of an order block. We had some sellers here, had some buyers here. We did establish fair value gaps here. If we leave this fair value gap alone, we're going to continue to the upside. Yeah, we'll give it until 10:30. Let's see if I can break this down. Very, very interesting. Is this the reversal, kind of like what they did here, or is this the pullback for continuation? All right, now they're back to that fair value gap. They're back to the opening range. This is where it's going to get very, very interesting for our option contract, right? This is what I was explaining. A terrible break of here, I don't know, like maybe what 50% or whatever the case may be. It will put so much weight on our option contract that it's going to be almost not worth it. It's going to be worthless. Now the 5 minutes done. Does the 5 minute erase this whole entire thing and play to the downside? Or do we continue back up and recapture? It looks like they're going to test more of this fair value gap. How does the bulls feel about this momentum? How do they feel? This MACD is not telling me that they're bullish too much on it. Right now, your contract's probably getting decimated a little bit more. 50% drawdown, just give or take. I don't want nothing crazy like going to this order block, so I might have to probably take it off if it takes out this first part of this fair value gap, which is starting to look like it as I'm saying it. So I got as high as like a couple of percentage points. Yeah, we're gonna take this off. Thought I could hold this for the whole entire day. Are we getting an order block bounce? Nope, we're not getting an order block bounce. Let's go ahead and kick this bad boy off. All right. For Alta, we're going to take a peek at Alta before I get out of here. See if I can get myself a decent low price to get out of this thing. It's not going to retest the top, are you? So this was a high risk, high reward type of setup, but my goal behind it, that's why I'm only risking about 50% of this contract, which is about that 24 bucks. Yeah, so I have 44, so I got, where are you? Let's see, I got filled at, so I risked $29 to see if this $29 could have turned into $100 bucks. And I think that's what we're going to be doing a lot more of. You see, we're starting to really break down. We're going to do a lot more of taking these more cost-effective positions. Oh, let's see what's going on with CVX. Cost-effective positions so we can get as much money as possible. And we're still going up. Maybe I should put a trail stop. Where are we? You know what? Let me get an alert up here, and I'm gonna put a trail stop when it gets there. Let's see if they can sweep as much of that wick as possible. Alta came into my alerts letting me know that it's possibly breaking down. Yeah, nice little break of support here. Looks real bearish. I would love for Alta to test 409. If I did something like 29 days out, no. I'm probably gonna have to go contract expiration 700. 440. Right, is that what we are? We're 430. 430. I wouldn't like that 409 area. 409 area. I would say take a look at the 400 on Alta with that break below. See if you can find a proper entry. What I'm thinking is going to happen is 2 hours going to break into this MACD. Let's see what the weekly looks like again. The weekly is already bearish, and this thing looks like it's going to turn even more bearish as they try to get through the zero line, and they're already exhausted here. Daily already crossed down. We got a golden cross right here, so this could be a allow for more buyers to come in. Yeah, I'm thinking 400. If I can get, let me see what happens when the candle closes. All right. So that said, that is pretty much it. Let me see what's going on with NQ now. You know, it bounced right at that setup pivot. It kind of swept it. We didn't get all of this fair value gap, but does the sellers have enough? And that's why I don't like ranges. That's why I got out of it. If this thing does what I think it possibly could do, we'll pull the rest of this fair value gap, and maybe we'll get an open range breakout to the downside. So just keep that in mind as we go in. We got like 4 minutes, so let me give y'all a couple other tickers. I am looking at, you know what? Let's go with Tesla. So this is that income driven Tesla. I have my position already. I still don't think I should add to the position. Let's do the weekly. Nice curl. They're probably going to try to push this bad boy down. We'll see. Because we got 3 weeks to just drop after they kind of peaked out of that $18. That's when Tesla kind of hit their record levels. Here is Tesla. Give you a sense of it. 3 weeks. It just dropped. So I'm trying to see, where do they find some support? Do they find support around that 361? Is that where it goes? Earnings is coming up around January 22nd. So that's going to make things very interesting. And we'll just have to see what happens then. Another one I am looking at. NVIDIA had a move. This one was based on the 2 hour. Nice little push up. Looking for that MACD to kind of come back across again. I think this is a bullish divergence, very short term bullish divergence, because we kind of had this low right here, and I'm looking for this to kind of return from here on the histogram to here. So as long as it doesn't break below this histogram around here, we might get a NVIDIA retesting some of these trend lines, maybe a quick sweep or manipulation. We could take our profits. That's another one. Probably what's driving NQ in itself. All right, we got less than a minute and a half. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on here. So I mean, now we're putting a bearish fair value gap here inside of the range. And we just could not sustain that and did not catch the ball when it started to fall. We might at the end of the day test some levels down here. Might. But we got to break under this jambalaya order block in itself. So you got your levels. You already know what I'm thinking about with CVX. You already know what I'm thinking about with Ulta. Ulta's already down to 421 or 429, so it already dropped the dollar. I haven't gotten into a position yet. I don't like the spread. I'm gonna wait for the spread to kind of like settle itself. What else did I give y'all? I think we talked about Pan W a bit. Starbucks. I gave y'all what I thought about Tesla. Tesla had their deliveries. I'm still in my Tesla positions. Yeah, that's about it. All right. On that note, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time and joining in. Again, this is me being back for the first time in a very long time. I'm looking forward to doing this consistently back again. I changed some equipment on my computer, so hopefully that holds it, or whatever the case may be. If not, I'll run it off my iPad. I'm gonna see if I can just keep the dates consistent. Tuesdays through Thursdays, 9:15 all the way to 10:15, or we spill over. And go ahead and click the links down below. If you don't have a brokerage or you don't have anything as far as your own TradingView account and you like the software that I use, the links are down below. This helps the channel, and we will see y'all next week. Have a great day.